Hey everyone. You probably heard me talk about branding on different podcasts and why it's so important, especially when it comes to podcasting. And I have with me Yamilca Rodriguez, and she's the creator of the Brand Therapist podcast, and of course is the author of the Brand Therapist. I love that line, brand therapy. That is so good, Yamilca.
Thank you. I'm calling like I should go all brand therapist. So I'm doing brand therapist sessions.
Nice. I love that. It's so good. It's so creative. And so just to kind of like frame it, obviously you help clients build brands and they're gorgeous to attract your ideal client or what you say is your super fan. And but you talk about one of the biggest challenges that most of your clients or entrepreneurs have. And can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah. So a lot of my clients, first of all, don't understand their personal brand. First of all, so they're like heckle and I call them like they're one and the other, and then there are so many things that it's difficult for them to kind of use their personal brand as a piece to attract the right people.
Yeah.
So I think one of the main things for my clients is that to really understand their brand essence, what I call their brand essence, so they can really attract those right individuals. And I think it's all based on psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I just think people don't really know what a personal brand is all about.
No, it's so true. And I just kind of want to tie in the podcast piece because I always say, like, a podcast should not be a silo, like, it's this separate piece. Like, it needs to be a part of your brand and it kind of like work in conjunction to meet your goals. Um,
And you're so right. But
yeah,
I'll tell you, when I started podcasting, I didn't do that. And I had to learn my way back into it.
yeah.
But it is a hard concept to understand. Like, how do you connect everything? What I call the brand ecosystem,
Ooh, I love
right?
that.
So how do you connect every single piece of what you're doing in an ecosystem that makes sense? Whether it's visual,
Yeah.
voice, all the five senses that we can use to market ourselves, we need to connect those, connect the dots around those, not clone them,
That's a
but
good point.
connecting the dots.
Yeah, I love that term ecosystem. I heard you say that a couple weeks ago and I actually wrote it down. I was like, oh, that's good. Because, yeah, it's so true. It all works in conjunction together. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs have, it's like attracting new prospects and leads. And a lot of them struggle with lead gen. It's like hit and miss of what's going to work. And you create all these things, but then you're not getting the leads. And I love that you are creating these quizzes and these funnels through the quiz. Clearly, they're working. Why are quizzes so much better than other lead magnets? Or why are they so effective? I guess I should say.
Yeah, so that's really, really important. So there's a few things with quiz that make it really a really smart thing to do for your business. One of them is that you can really segment your audience, because
Mm,
we do have one particular audience that we call the avatar, the ideal client,
yeah.
but it's also important to segment that. Sometimes we can segment it by personalities,
Hmm.
by motivation, by needs, but also by price point.
Oh, I
Okay.
never thought of that.
Yes. So, for example, I just did a quiz for a client, and she wanted, why she wanted me to do her quiz was because we were in a conference, I was speaking, and I sent everybody to my quiz, and she saw everybody in the audience going to the page and trying to click on, the little code to
Yeah.
get the quiz. And she was like, oh my God, that is genius. Because what happens is that a lot of people are not going to want to download your lead magnet or your book unless they have a true need. But
Right.
everybody wants to do a personality quiz. So to understand, so for me, it was branding, but for her, it's wellness. And so
Right.
we segmented the individuals more around there were some personality differences, but a lot around price point, because price point also gives you a different mindset. And so that's how we did for her. And so, because she speaks a lot. And so when she speaks, she sent them to the quiz, and she didn't just get the leads, but they bought from her. So she knew exactly how it went from, okay, they filled out they filled out the quiz, and then she sold them right into her program. And she made like 30K in just one speaking engagement. Yeah.
That is awesome. And I like really in thinking about the logic behind it all is that by segmenting, then you're going to give the right offer to that person versus giving the same offer to everyone. And it's like a shot in the dark on whether they're going to take it or not.
Exactly. And to go a little deeper in that, you know, we really want to not to ask too many questions. That's one mistake that a lot of people do. They create a quiz, they ask 20 questions. People don't want to fill out a 20 question you know, survey or anything. So really making sure that you have 5 to 6, even 7 at the most questions. And then what you do is you make sure that you're asking questions that don't let them use their head. Okay. And what I mean by that, because people start analyzing, why are they asking me this question? Try to logically answer the question.
Yeah.
You want to ask questions. One of the questions that I usually ask is, you know, what's your favorite kind of wine, right? And describe the wine and make it something that it's relatable to them. Okay, whether it's wine, perfume, and cake, chocolate, it doesn't matter, but it has to be something that they're not trying to analyze. It's just more like, oh, well, I do like, you know, dark chocolate because it makes me feel this way, or I like milk chocolate because, you know, it makes me feel this way. So always intersperse some questions that don't let them think, so you can segment them correctly, because it does have, you know, a little bit of price point and a little bit of personality is kind of how you're segmenting your audience, because then you can send them to the right offer. Now, let me tell you this. One of the questions that my client had was, you know, I'm only getting these clients here at the lower offer level, but I've been able to upgrade them to the next, you know, level. And I told her, I said, that's perfect. It's not that you're getting the wrong segment. It's that you're being able to upgrade them to the next level. And that means you're a great salesperson, right? So that's another thing to think about, right? And what these quizzes do, it helps us learn more about our clients.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing, really, out of anything, is to understand how they're going through your funnel, right? How are you segmenting them so they feel, you know, kind of customized for them? And then how you're asking them the questions at the sales level, so then you can upgrade them to the next level.
Yeah, because really, I guess when you stop and think about it, you want a foot in the door. You want them to have a reason to book a call with you or whatever it is. And then once you can talk to them, you can build that relationship, fully explain what your services are so that they're like, oh, I didn't realize you did that. And then, yeah, like you said, upsell them or upgrade them. It's just getting that initial, like, get on the phone with me.
Exactly. And I think sometimes it's interesting because people think, well, who is my ideal client? How do I know my ideal client? Or they think it's themselves. And I'm here to tell people that it's not.
No.
It's a science, right? So once we find out your brand essence, right, then we can correlate that to your opposite. And your opposite is your what I call super fan. And so once we understand the opposite, then we segment them and create the question around your ideal client or super fan segment. And that's really, this is a science-based quiz. It's not like, let me just make this up and figure out. And also, you don't want to target everybody, because I will tell you, and I've done this for a long time, is that you'll get people like you that they'll say, when you get people like you, they'll say, oh, I think I can do what she does. You know, I don't think I need to pay this much for that. I think I can do it myself. When you get the opposite, they know they can't do it. And they know they need you to do it because you're the expert.
Yeah.
the difference. And so this is all based on science and not just a random number here and there.
And so I'm assuming then that you fully need to understand your clients, like what their superpower is, what their offers are. Because I have seen quizzes where there's obviously different questions. And like if they answer it a certain way, then they get offered this thing here. Or if they answer this way, they get offered this package. Like, is that correct? Or is it more like you just want to get them on the phone? Like, or does it all kind of depend?
That's a really good question. So there's a difference between a personality quiz and a survey. Okay, I want to make that very clear. Right? When you're doing a personality quiz, you want their email. It's I call it quiz equals leads, right? You want a email. You don't want anything else. That's why when you build a personality quiz, what you're doing is, first of all, you're asking the questions, and then you ask for the email before you give them the answer. So, because nobody wants to give you an email prior to building the questionnaire.
Right.
So you kind of get them enticed to fill out the questionnaire, and then you say, oh, you want the answer? Give me your email. So you're really trading the personality answer, and it's more about an answer of not you're selling anything. Okay. This is not what you're going to give them. You're going to give them who they are and what are the things that they need to do to excel themselves at whatever that is. So for example, for you, if you're working around podcast and, what are the KPIs and all those things, you want to entice them to say, this is what you need to do to create the KPIs that are right for your business, right?
Okay.
This is the way that they're going to be enticed to up. Now, a survey is different. A survey is for you to ask them to see where they fit in and what are the different offers that they can have for you. That's a survey question, but it's hard to get leads through surveys because they, first of all, don't know necessarily what they need to fill out that survey. Usually surveys are done after they're your clients and you're trying to sell them other packages, right? So a personality quiz is to get leads, and a survey is clients that are already there for you to then offer them different offers, because it's very difficult when people don't know you, don't trust you, to then get them from straight to a package, right? It's really hard.
Very.
People are like, I don't want a package because they don't know they need it. And so what you're doing first is building that relationship. That's why the personality quizzes are built for. You want to build that relationship that then possibly gets you to a sale. But if it doesn't go directly to a sale, you want to put them through a funnel, right? Email sequence, whatever that looks like for you, that then eventually gets you to some sort of sale. So it's all really the way that I'm doing my offer, especially for the quiz, is that you get a personality quiz and you also get the back end of what that looks like. Which
there's a lot that goes on in the back end that people don't realize.
Yes,
and so much strategy and psychology and the copy and like.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's an offer that you only get the quiz, but then if you want both of them, which I think is kind of the best, because then you get the system that recreates those sales at the back end, which a lot of us, because we're not so techy, we don't understand how to do that at the back end. The whole strategy.
It's a lot.
Strategy around that.
Absolutely. And so what I'm hearing is the personality quiz is more of a capture, attract, and then you're nurturing versus, because I have seen it done a lot where there's quizzes and then it's like right on the back end of it is like a buy this kind of a thing. So the results, so I'm assuming then there are different results though. And so are those results given like through email or on the thank you pages, so to speak? Does it matter?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So the way that we build the quiz is that we segment the personality. We have the results for them. And then the results, it's something that they want to hear themselves through, right? So they're saying, okay, you're this type of person. And then these are the things you need to do because you have this personality, right? This is what you need to do. So you're giving them something, right? And then on the bottom, you say, fill out this application if you want to know more. So now they're like filling out the application and then you're getting a call. So that's kind of, and then if they don't fill out the application, they're still in your system because you got their email, and you can do email sequences and all those things to attract them in different ways, depending on where they fall in your segment. So it's all kind of mapped out for you. So you don't, it's kind of like a done for you quiz.
I love that. Yeah.
Not like you're going to do a course and read all, try to figure it out on your own. It's like we do the segmentation, we understand your personality, we create the quiz for you, and then you can have the quiz, or you can also have the back end part. If you want to do all the back end parts, have a system, a sales system that has reoccurring revenue for you.
I love that. And I just want to quickly frame it for podcasters, especially those that are guesting on podcasts. Like, you're guesting on a podcast so that, yes, you want your expertise to be, shared with the world, so to speak, but you want to capture leads. And so what I love is that kind of a quiz is such an easy, no barrier entry point, that versus saying, oh, I've got this, training, I've got this thing, well, I may not need that. Like, it's such a low barrier, easy funnel.
Exactly. I mean, you hit it on the nail with that, because I think a lot of people are trying to sell their courses, or, they're on a podcast and they're trying to sell their lead gen or whatever that is, with their free thing. But they might say, well, that's not for me. But if you say, hey, whatever you do, I have this really simple quiz, get on it and try it, right? They're going to be like, oh yeah,
that's easy.
That's easy. So it's such an easy way to be a guest, like you said, a guest on podcasts, and offer that. People fill it out, and then that way you're not wondering like, why didn't anybody go to my page? Why didn't anybody? I've been on all these podcasts and nobody's. So what I do on my podcast, I make them fill it out before they're a guest, so I can talk about my quiz. With what they came out with, and so they're all like, oh, that is so cool. They never thought about that. And I do it live. So I don't try to ask them anything before, but then live, I ask them all these questions.
Yeah.
It sends other people to my quiz. Right. Nice. And that's how I use it for lead gen.
Yeah. So smart. I love it. And there are like quiz apps out there, but to figure it out on your own and it not have the messaging, your branding, the psychology, the funnel, the flow afterwards, like that's just such a minor piece of the puzzle. And I have never seen anybody where it's like, here's your quiz funnel. Like, that's why I had to have you on. I'm like, this is the perfect lead gen for people that are guesting on podcasts.
And I did, I tried to do it on my own. It wasn't working. I worked at Procter & Gamble. I know segmentation. So that's an expertise that I bring to the table. And so it's really something, and that's why we're so excited about it. It's because it's just a done for you, and you don't have to think about it. And now you've created this amazing lead gen that you can segment and get leads and generate segmentation and all these things that will help you with your business in the future.
Yeah, agreed. And segmentation is so helpful. So you're not like throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping it sticks. You're actually understanding who they are, what it is they're like, what they want. It just makes your conversion that much higher. And it just, who wants to gas? It doesn't get you anywhere.
Exactly. And it's too hard. And you have to build a relationship with your customer. And this is a way to do it in an easy way for them to trust you and then use your services in the future.
I love it. So where can people go to check out your quiz that you have? And then also to learn about your quiz funnels and so that you can do it all for them.
Yeah, so they can go to bespoke branding. So it's BESPOKE branding.io. Or if you want to go straight and check out the quiz, you can go to 𝘄𝘄𝘄𝑄, quiz.io as well, and check out the quiz funnel and see if that's something that you would like to do in the future. But yeah, you can write me and at my website, you can either do the quiz, send me an email, or whatever you like. Or you can find me on Instagram at Yamilca Rodriguez Branding.
Perfect. Yeah. And there's a great video on that 𝘄𝘄𝘄.io site, and where it shows you kind of like all that they do. I was like, ooh, it's a lot. So yeah, it's really helpful to fully understand what it is that you do, right?
And actually, let me just tell you a little bit about that. We had to do that video twice because the first one was 20 minutes. And we're like, no, we can't have a 20
No.
explaining this because we went really in depth. So we had to redo it again and just do the little pointers. But then you can see the process
visually
you need to do to create a quiz.
Yeah. No, it's so good. Thank you so much for chatting about and sharing your quiz. And learning about branding and what the right thing to do is and what the wrong thing to do is. And hopefully more people will do some more quizzes.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Yamilca.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Bye, guys.